Hey, it is Peter and Sue here from Strong Healthy Women. And today we are exploring the pros and cons of doing the same old exercise day in, day out, and why it matters to the aging body. So, one of the things that we get told when we start an exercise program is that, find your favorite thing to do and just keep doing that. And of course, we are creatures of habit and we do like to do the same thing all of the time. And one of the things about aging is that we tend to do that same thing and not get out of our comfort zone. So I'm putting my hand up for that because I know this weekend I actually did decide to get out of my comfort zone and do something a little bit different because I thought it was important because I was starting to get into that category of doing the same old, same old. How are you today, Sue? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Ready to talk about, um, the subject. And I know what you mean about it's easy to get into a rut doing the same
Oh
old
my God,
things,
isn't it?
and not even just in exercise, just with around
Life,
home,
yeah,
with life.
yeah. Life in general, isn't it? Yeah. And so I'm going to start off with some of my pros to start with. The
Mhm.
first one that I want to throw in is motivation. And it's one of those things that gets thrown around a lot, like I don't have the motivation to exercise. So, by doing something that you enjoy doing, then what happens is you're more likely to do it, which means your motivation is a lot higher for you. The second thing that I have is that you get better results. So, what do I mean by that? When you love your workout, you're more invested in it, you'll put in more time and effort to it, which means that you're not discouraged in any way to give it up. So it therefore means that whatever the reason is that you're exercising, you're going to see results from it because you are being that little bit more consistent with it. So what have you got on your list with pros?
Well, with pros, it gives your body the opportunity to adapt to get stronger. So when we first start something, we're
Yeah,
probably not, uh, you know, very good at it. And so when one of the pros is if we keep doing the same thing over
yeah,
and over, we will improve and then we go to the next level. So let's say, for example, with if you're doing a bit of strength training or weight training, you don't start out with really heavy weights, but
no.
you progressively move up to those.
Mm,
So it does help your body to adapt to what you're doing. It builds your confidence because as you improve and you go to the next level, you're feeling good about yourself. You're feeling more confident in what your body can do. And I don't know. Are we going on to the cons now? We're just on the pros,
no,
but
let's stick on the pros for a moment.
okay, all right. So yeah, it builds your confidence. And I suppose you don't have to really think about it. You just get in and you know what you're doing.
Mm,
And
mm,
you don't have to waste time, I suppose. And I'm just sort of talking about an exercise here, say strength training. You don't have to think, well, what am I going to do today? Here you
yeah.
go. I've got my program. I can get into it. Or I'm going for a run or a walk. I know what I've got to do. So you don't sort of procrastinate and then say, oh, I don't really know what to do. I'm fluffing around here, so I'll just give it all a miss. So one of the good things about doing the same thing all the time is that you know what you've got to do, so you can get in and do it and get it done and not give it away and miss out on doing it.
Hmm. So I also had confidence down because I really honestly believe that you do build a lot more self-esteem when you're doing something that you love and enjoy and that you are consistent with it. And that was the other thing that I had written down because when you do like it, when you do enjoy it, you will be consistent with it. So, which means it becomes part of your daily routine, it becomes more of your habits. And the other
Yeah.
thing that I had written down with pros was it actually helps improve your mental health, because one of the things that happens when you start exercising is it's not just about the physical aspect of it, it's also about that emotional um, benefits to the body, because you start to feel better in your body. You also start to feel good mentally as well. And what that means is that when you have more positive feelings, then you're more likely to keep going at it as well too. So all of these things mean that there's this lovely little circle that happens. When you do something you love and enjoy, you get the motivation from it. You improve not just your physical and your mental health, but you become more consistent at it, which means you get better results at it, and therefore you gain that confidence from it as well too. Yeah.
And I just think I've got this on pros and my cons as well. But if you're doing something where, and even with strength training, like you've
Yes.
got Zumba where you have to think about the steps you're doing, the choreography, you know, if you're doing line dancing, you got to do that. If you're doing strength training, sometimes we put a couple of exercises together, and and the ladies have to think now, okay, how many reps am I doing this, and then go to this one. So it's really good for our brain, if you're doing something that you enjoy, to keep your brain working.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah.
things like that. So that's just another a positive there. It makes you use your brain a little bit.
It does. It does indeed. One of the things that I was thinking about is, what's the thing that I love and enjoy? And that happens to be getting out in nature. So whether that's a bushwalk, whether that's a hike. So these are things that I love and enjoy, but I never class this as exercise, because I enjoy it so much. And I know in order to be able to do those types of things, I do have to do some type of structured exercise around it as well. And so I want to share my two favorite exercises that I'm really loving at the moment. And one fits into the strength training category, and it's a combination. And we've actually just finished it in the FitFlex session this morning. And it happens to be a squat to a bicep curl to a shoulder press. So this is a great foundational combination, and it's what we call compound exercises. So what I'm doing here is I'm challenging multiple muscle groups. So I'm improving my strength, my stability, and my overall fitness by doing that wonderful combination. And the second one that I really love is a body weight exercise, because I love the fact that if you've got something that you enjoy that's body weight, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can actually do that type of exercise. You don't need any equipment. And so it is a walkout to a push-up to a plank jack. So what I'm doing by combining all of these exercises is that I'm getting a really comprehensive workout that again is challenging multiple muscle groups, which improves, my overall strength. And it means that I'm getting physically stronger, but also I'm working my cardiovascular system as well too. So my heart rate's getting a good solid workout. So I know you've been thinking about this too, what is the thing that you love and enjoy? What type of movement first do you love and enjoy a lot? I think you're a runner, aren't you? You like running?
Well, I do love to run. And that's a bit of an oxymoron, really. Who really loves running? But I mean, I run with a friend, and it's a social aspect as well. So I do enjoy that. And as you say, we get out in nature. So usually I meet her and we run along the Brisbane River, which is really lovely. Or I live near a lake, so I can sort of go up and go for a walk or a run around the lake, and you're in nature. And I just think getting outside, getting some vitamin D. I try to go early in the morning, especially in summer,
Yeah,
before the heat of the day. But you just get out into that fresh air and into moving your body. And look, it could be a brisk walk if you want. You don't have to
yeah.
run, but just getting out, as you say, a bushwalk. And there's things I want to talk about that a little bit later. But so I like the running, but I wouldn't say I love strength training, but I've come to enjoy it because it does make you feel strong in your mind as well as your body. When you're doing the exercises, you are, they're strength exercises. You can feel your body getting stronger. And, I think the other thing is that because we put a bit of variety into it,
Mm,
you can start to enjoy it. It becomes a little bit more than just standing there doing 10 repetitions of something.
yeah.
We're making it a little bit more, as you say, you've put, say, 3 exercises or 3
Yeah.
movements there with your squat to your bicep curl
Bicep
to your
curl.
shoulder press. So there's that variety there. We're moving the different muscles. So you can really do a shorter workout if you want to and still get that full body. I like the full body workouts. I'm partial to ab up and downs, which I'm not
Oh,
sure if
okay.
ladies know what that is, but
No,
I
no,
really
I think
quite like that.
that's just sort of like our name. I think we gave it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Do
But
you want to
that's where you're
explain it?
sort of going, well, you're sort of standing up with your legs hip width apart, and you squat down and you try to reach the ground, and you lift, stretch up and try and reach at the top. So
Mm,
you're moving your body, you've got your glutes and your quads working, your abs are working. If you get to the point where you are technically right, you can power it out, so it's something you can do in a hotel room and power it out and
yeah.
get a bit of cardio in there as well. And I don't know why, I just love that feeling of going down and up, or if you can't get your arms up, you bring them to the front. But just I quite like that one as well, because I also had a squat to shoulder press.
Oh, yes.
That's another one. But I think for me, when I'm doing strength, I do like to put a couple of different exercises together
Together.
to just add that. It's better for your body, I think, and it's a bit, keeps it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I like that you said that. I mean, when I'm lifting heavy, I really do like, one exercise, obviously,
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's important. But, if we're lifting at, let's say 50% of our capacity, then what we want to do is, yeah, have that combination, make sure we stay on form. And what that does is, as you said, it gives you more bang for your buck, and what it does is it also prevents that little bit of boredom that can happen as well too. Yeah,
Mm,
thanks for sharing that.
mm,
So,
mm.
like having a favorite exercise is really is a great motivator, but relying on the same exercise routine, day in, day out, really does limit your results. So we're going to talk about the cons now, because your body is smart and it's going to very quickly adapt to what you're doing. And if you want to actually keep continuing to get fitter, to get stronger, then what you do need to do is actually continue to progress. And that means if you're engaging in different types of exercises, then what's going to happen is that you are challenging your body a little bit more, and it doesn't know what you're doing. So one of the things that I used to do a circuit, and I'd go to a gym, and when I walked through the door, I would always go and start on the same machine, right? And like I could just pound out that machine left, right, and center. But what I quickly realized was that my body was used to me doing that. And so the minute I would go somewhere different, it would go, oh, she's got to work a little bit harder now. And I would see something different come through from myself. The other thing that can happen is if we are doing the same thing constantly, then we can have a risk of injury, as an example, because we're repeating the same thing over and over again. So doing different types of exercises gives us that opportunity to prevent that risk of injury that may come from doing the same thing. What have you got on your con list, Sue?
Well, I had that the body gets used to it, so it's less effective. And I said, with the pros, I said, well, it's good to do the same things all the time till you build up your confidence. But once you've done that, and a lot of programs, if you go to the gym, for example, are maybe 4 to 6 weeks, they do the same thing, but then you've got to change it up
Yes.
because your body does get used to it. It's not as effective, so you're not going to see that the changes that you want. You're going to start stagnating because your body is just used to it. It's like if you're doing weights, for example, and you're still using 2 kilo weights and you've been doing it for 6 months, you're really not improving. So, you would have to think, well, okay, what can I do? I'll have to go up in weights if you're finding the exercise too easy. I think it also challenges your brain because you've got to think about, your cognitive
health,
ability and health, because you're learning new exercises to do. If you're just doing the same thing all the time, the other thing is you're not going to think about what you're doing. Your technique could go wrong, and as you said, injury could then happen because you're not thinking. Whereas if you're starting something new, your body's going to go, oh, okay, this is new. Your brain's going to go, oh, I've got to remember what I'm doing. I've got to think about what I'm doing so I don't injure myself. And it just brings a bit of variety in, because if you get bored, you're going to say, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore.
I actually did have that cognitive health down as well too. It definitely, we want to be thinking about what we're doing. And I'm sure the ladies, when they come in and do a Fit Flex session with me, go, what's she going to do now? So one of the things that we do at Strong Healthy Women is, on a Friday evening, the ladies get their newsletter, and that actually has, something to learn in it, some education type stuff. But it also has in it, here's the exercises we're going to be doing next week. And they can jump into the hub then and have a look at those exercises and look for alternates. If, for example, they've got some type of limitation that they're working through at that point. But one of the things that happens is with those exercises, when they get particularly to my sessions, I go, okay, well, we're going to do it this way, but now we're also going to do it this way, and we're going to do it this way, and we're going to do it this way. So sometimes I will go, okay, we're doing a reverse lunge, but we're going to be adding in these variables to that reverse lunge as an example. So not only am I helping them from a physical perspective, but I'm also helping them from that cognitive and thinking about things. And I'm sure they get frustrated with it, but being able to think on the spot is really, really important as we're aging. So, which leads me to one of the other things that I had written down, which is our functional ability. So if we're doing the same thing day in, day out, then we're only teaching our body to move and respond in one way. We're not teaching it to respond in different ways. And it's really, really important that, if we want to be able to get up and down off the ground, if we want to be able to reach the high cupboards, if we want to be able to twist and turn or prevent ourselves from falling, we've got to be able to simulate those different types of movements that we're going to encounter in daily life. So by simply just, for example, going back to, my hiking and your running, Sue, that's one type of movement, but we're limiting our functional ability by not doing other things. And hence the reason that you and I both do, flexibility training and mobility training and balance training and strength training and work on our core strength. So we do all of those different things, all of those foundational aspects of training, because we know in order to do that thing that we love, we've got to be able to keep functionally living in life.
Mm, mm. Yeah, and I was going to say too that, for example, with walkers, and you brought up hiking, but
Yeah.
I would think more about just your general walking around the suburbs or
Yes.
running. You've got to try and walk on different surfaces.
Yeah.
You've got to try and get a few inclines in, maybe some stairs, because if you just going the same way all the time, as you said, your body's just getting used to that one way, but you've got to challenge it. So you've got to think about when you're going for a walk, even what am I going to do differently this time? And I think you or Sal always say, oh, I'm going to go for a walk, and instead of turning left, I'm going to turn right for a change.
Absolutely.
And that can play with your brain. Or if I'm going for a run with my friend, we'll go, which way are we going to go today? And I tell you, sometimes we just go, oh, I don't know, let's just go the normal way. But, you've got to try and, I think, mix it up. But for me, having those other foundational forms of exercise, like the strength, the balance, the flexibility, helps me then to run. Because otherwise, and I've proven it, I'm a better runner if I do those than if I just did the running on its own. So, and I would say the same with walking, the same with hiking.
Yeah.
You've got to try and keep that, just have a varied exercise program. And I don't like to use those two words, but move in all different ways, but making sure that as you've said, you get your strength, your mobility, your flexibility, your balance,
your stability,
cardio,
all
your stability, all of that. You've got to, you just can't stick to the one thing. You've got to get that variety if you want to keep your body adaptable to just how we live.
Absolutely. And the final point that I had down as a con was that we're limiting our cardiovascular health by doing that same thing, because what's happening there is that you will find that it becomes easier. So therefore, getting that heart rate up and, challenging yourself becomes harder and more difficult. And what can happen is we tend not to push that barrier. And so, and we really do need to keep a strong heart. And the way we do that is to challenge ourselves in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's one stumbling block with that, and that is that we fear. We have that fear that we can't do something, and we feel, as you said, in your comfort zone before, I know how to do this. I feel comfortable doing this, so I'm just going to stay doing this, instead of saying, oh, I'd really like to try and go to a different level or do something different. And your mind's and your body maybe is saying to your mind saying, oh, your body won't be able to do that. Well, how do you know if you don't try?
Yeah.
So it's, and you end up surprising yourself. The ladies last week, now I wouldn't say push-ups are my favorite. And you can do them all over the place. You've got a kitchen bench push-up that you show
I've done
us.
before.
There's so many ways you can do it. And I think both of us said to the ladies in our respective sessions, we want, because they've been coming for a while, some of them, I want you to try them on your toes. I want you to go to that next level. I know you can do it. And even if you have to drop back, at least you've done it, because I know that it's just fear. They just keep telling themselves they can't do it.
Mm.
And so they tried. And what happened?
They did
They
it.
did it. Now,
Yeah, they
some
did
of
it.
them weren't quite strong enough to stay up on their toes, and that's fine. They went back down to their knees or whatever, level they
Level
were
they were
at,
at. Mm.
but they proved that they could do it. And I
Mm.
think that that's something that if you just do the same thing over and over again, you're not going to overcome your fear. For anything in life, I think that even something small as doing an exercise a different way or doing something differently
Yeah.
can translate into your whole attitude towards things you do in life.
Mm.
So, it's overcoming that fear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, in short, like having a favorite exercise that you love and enjoy is great. And I'm not going to discourage anyone from doing what they love and enjoy. But what I am going to say is that it is important to incorporate different types of physical activity and functions and movement into your daily routine, because you want that well-rounded approach to your health, to your well-being, so that your body is going to be able to functionally support you, not just in your exercise, but in life in general.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's like any topic. It wouldn't matter what we're talking about today. There will always be pros and cons of every single thing. But it's really about asking yourself, where am I at right now? And how do I want to live my life? Am I
mm.
living it optimally? Am I doing the things that I want to do, or am I restricting it because I've got some type of limitation and therefore I think I can't do more? And so it's really about asking yourself how you want to live your life as you age, because we're all
Mm.
capable of doing more than what we think we can do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Thanks for joining me today, Sue. Some great
Thank
insight
you.
there. You're welcome. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. If there's anything today that has resonated with you and you want to reach out, please feel free to, message Sue or myself, and let's hook up and have a bit of a chat about where you're at, where you want to be, and how we might be able to help you, live that best life that you're trying to live and keep that functional body, helping you do everything that you want to do in life for as long as you want to enjoy it. So thanks for joining us. See you soon.
Bye, bye, everyone.